time for another episode of The Oil Stream with Dustin Nielsen and Tom Gazzola, presented by Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen.
Happy Friday, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Oil Stream. Nielsen and Gazzola with you, and as always, it's brought to you by Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen. Surprised a loved one today with some delicious, juicy chicken nugs from Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen. What's up, buddy?
Hey, Dusty. Good call last night. That Alouettes Bombers game. I can't believe it. What a finish, man.
You can't believe it. This isn't the CFL stream, but I can't believe Leggio missed that game winner at the end of regulation with the way he did. All he had to do was hammer a kick right through the end zone, and they win it by one. That was amazing, buddy. Amazing.
Two pooched kicks. Leggy, oh no! Ouch. Is this the thread that starts to unravel for the Bombers, or do they pick up kind of where they left off despite this loss?
I would think they probably pick up where they left off. I mean, they're too good. They've lost basically now two meaningful games with a full roster over the last couple of years. So I think this is good because, like, if BC beats Calgary tomorrow night, BC's at 7-1, Bombers are at 9-1. Like, it makes it interesting. So it should be good. I like that.
Yep.
It's gonna be fun.
Good call yesterday.
Well, it was good, and I'm actually really looking forward to Lions and Stamps on Saturday. So a nice weekend in the Canadian Football League. But this is the Oil Stream, and we're gonna get into that. Like I said, brought to you by Popeyes. Two new locations on the way here in the very near future: West Edmonton Mall and Heritage Valley as well. So watch for more details on that as we work our way towards those grand openings. I'm just gonna rip this Band-Aid off, buddy.
Oh no!
Before we get to the Boston Pizza Appetizer, I told you before. I said, I think internally, I'm starting to give up. And now that I think about it, I'm not so much giving up on my guy. I'm not going to say that on Jesse Puljujärvi.
What?
But I'm starting to not believe in the situation that he's in here in Edmonton, buddy. So I'm in a simulation hockey league, the SICHL.com with Guy Flaming and Corey Graham is in it for a while. I've been in it for like 14, 15 years. And I had Jesse Puljujärvi in that. And then in the One Rincon Hockey League, which I've won 5 times in the last 12 years. It's a hockey pool with my buddies. We have 12 keepers. You're allowed to keep 12 guys every year. And the last 2 years, I've maneuvered around, cut some really good guys, traded some good guys, just to free up space to keep Jesse Puljujärvi. And in the last week, I have allowed Jesse Puljujärvi to go unprotected in the One Rincon Hockey League, let him back out into the draft for this upcoming year, and then I traded him in the simulation league in a deal to get Andrei Svechnikov. I mean, there's more involved, but I was still very happy with the deal. But before we came on today, I was just like, wait a second. I have, after hanging on to him for years, moved on from him in 2 of the leagues that I'm most passionate about. And I as I sit here this morning, I'm like disappointed. I kind of get why I did it. But Tommy, where do you come out on this? If I'm sitting here saying, because I always kept him, I always held on because I was just like, oh, it's going to click. Like, look at the 2 centers that he has a chance to play with on a regular basis. It's going to happen. And even this year, I was like, you know what? It's time to move on for me in my leagues.
Wow. First of all, what a revelation.
I know.
I didn't expect that today or ever, to be honest with you.
Huge.
Your moves in your fantasy and sim leagues might be very much, or they are very much in line with about 25, 26 GMs in the National Hockey League that looked at the situation, understood that here's a chance to get a winger, a young guy that's been in the league for a while and has some upside, and said, no, we're good. We can find other players for cheaper and we think are more effective. So, Dusty, you might be kind of going and being persuaded with the majority. And in Edmonton, I think, or in oil country, the majority is still on Jesse Puljujärvi's side. I am Switzerland in this. My family crossed over from Switzerland into Italy a couple hundred years ago. Very neutral. I see the benefit of Puljujärvi. I like what he can do, but I also understand why there isn't a big market for him as well. So, here in Edmonton, the more it's more so on the side of Puljujarvi. I get that. I respect and understand it. But everywhere else, you're starting to lean towards where everyone else is when it comes to JP 13.
I know that I'm still gonna probably do something stupid in the draft and trade a bunch of picks to move up and get him back. But for now, for me, it comes from the saying, Tommy. If you love something, set it free, and if it's meant to be, they'll come back to you. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I held on to him forever in all those leagues, and then in 1 week, I just was like, boom, boom. And I feel dirty because I'm his guy. Like if I'm not going to be the guy, who's going to be the guy? Nobody else is going to be the guy.
Hey, so, give it another night or two. We'll reconvene next week and see how you feel about it.
Well, by then I would have already acquired him back.
Oh boy. Well, sleep on it a little bit here. Relax. You're a busy guy.
See. I am a busy guy. That's true. All right, let's get into your Boston Pizza appetizer. Of course, the patio is open. I heard it's gorgeous in Edmonton today. My kids have already hit the pool in the backyard. So if you're looking to hop on a patio, why not do it at Boston Pizza? They've got happy hour from 2 to 5 and then from 9 to close as well. And make plans August 24th, high noon. That's Wednesday, August 24th, Tommy and I at the Capilano Boston Pizza location for a live episode of the Oil Stream. The first 10 guys to come up to me and say, hey, Dusty, give me the goods. I will buy you a beer or a beverage of your choice for lunch. So that's going to be fun. That is going to be fun.
What if you get 10 guys or girls coming up to you and saying, give me the goods, and then you go, drinks on me, drinks on Oil Stream, and they're like, yeah, I'll have like a quad Ryan Coke.
So I think we have to set some limits to it. Like, it's one beer. It's a single drink. Okay. Yes. We're not dishing out a dozen fish bowls here. Like, let's calm down for a second.
Hold on, Dusty.
Plus, whatever it is. Plus, we all have to remember everybody has to go back to work in the afternoon too, right? So it's not. We'll have a nice, responsible Oil Stream time at Boston Pizza. All right, Tommy. Let's get into this Phil Kessel PK Subban discussion that has popped up, I'd probably say, for the last week to 10 days. And as I was flying out here, I was thinking about it, and I think I'm going to label it Bobsteria or Stoffsteria, because basically anything Stoff says on Oilers Now, which is obviously the flagship show of the team.
Yes.
I mean, Staples writes an article about it, then somebody writes an article about Staples writing an article about it, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's done. It's a done deal. It's happening. So we know like Stoff checks out a lot of this stuff. I think he will appreciate the term Bobsteria because that's what it creates. Everybody goes nuts. And I sit here and go, financially, I just don't see how it works. So let's just start here, Tommy. Do you, out of Kessel or Subban, if either of one of them were to happen, which one do you think would be a better fit or help the team more?
All right. In this case, if you had to pick and you say which one would help the team more, which one would I prefer if it were to be a realistic scenario, which I am led to believe it is not, let's play along. I would go Phil Kessel because I think you're still going to need another right winger. Phil Kessel can still put up points. Is he as fast as he once was? Well, he wasn't ever really that fast. He gets to the right spot at the right time for the majority of the time, and that's what's most important. So I'd pick Kessel. I think if you went PK Subban, a lot of the rhetoric and discussion is, well, you'd get rid of Tyson Barrie, you'd bring in PK Subban for cheaper, you save on the cap, and you put in PK Subban. I think that makes your blue line even weaker. I think the Oilers have an adequate blue line. I don't think it's great. I think with good goaltending, it probably gets less heat and less attention, and that might be the case this year if they get good goaltending from Jack Campbell and Stuart Skinner. So if we're playing the game like between the two, who would you pick? I'd go with Phil Kessel, no PK Subban. Again, with the whole underlying notion that, from what I understand, totally unrealistic. I don't think I'm wrong. I could be wrong, but from what I've been told, nothing's cooking. So
we got the Tommy wet blanket on the Bobsteria.
I know,
August, right?
And there's been people that text in when I've been filling in for you on the Smash Hit Nielsen show. They're like, all you do is you say no to stuff. Why are you so negative? I'm like, I don't want to be negative, but I want to be realistic. I'm not negative towards the team. We all like to see the team have success. makes what we do a lot more fun. It gives the vibe around the city that much more oomph. But I don't want people to get these delusions of grandeur. So I ask about these things and I try to get as much information and then I just pass it on, And so from my point of view, just looking at this scenario, I'm like, that doesn't make sense. I was thinking about it the other day because it keeps coming up, Dusty. I'm just sitting around the house. I'm like, okay, Phil Kessel and PK Subban. You get older, you get slower, and you probably disrupt the room. All in the name of getting in under the cap.
Yeah.
Like, what's the point? What's the point? This is a fast young man's game. Like you're going the other direction with those moves, even one of those moves. And so logically, I don't think it makes sense either. And I don't want to be wet blanket, but you ask, I say what I know or I'm told.
I'll just straight and call it a hot take if you want, but trading Jesse Puljujärvi and Tyson Barrie to get the cap space to bring in Phil Kessel and PK Subban does not make you better in any way, shape, or form. It's as simple as that. Like, sorry, but I believe that. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's like people are trying to find a solution to somehow make it possible to make the team worse, which doesn't make sense to me. So, I don't know. I mean,
boom.
I don't get it.
There's the sound bite. Cut it, clip it, post it.
Strange.
Love it.
It's strange to me. Now, with that being said, I mean, I know it's like still the off season and there's still good guys out there. So you want to talk about PTOs and things like that. But Tommy, would you basically say this roster that the Oilers have built right now, including Ryan McLeod, is that what we see? Is like, this is what we're talking about heading into training camp? Is that, I know it's not sexy. I know it's not going to drive views or clicks or anything, but is this it?
Yeah, for the most part, this is it. This is it. The heavy lifting's done. There could be a PTO or two. There always is.
Yeah.
And some of the guys make the team off of their PTO. What if there's a guy out there that's an option on the right side that you could bring in and you get a good performance out of him at camp, in the practices, in the preseason, and you negotiate a deal for 1/3 of what Jesse Puljujärvi's making, and you figure he can be more effective. This is hypothetical.
Yeah.
You sign him, you make the trade, Puljujärvi goes for a pick, hypothetical again, and then you get a little bit of cap compliance as well. So why not? I mean, it doesn't really cost you much to bring in guys, and there's a lot of guys floating around there that are pretty effective NHLers still that got squeezed out, did not get qualified. I could see a scenario like that potentially playing out. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so that might be the case.
I do love it. We still got a month of speculating on things that could happen, which actually leads to pretty good download numbers in the offseason. People are desperate for their Oilers chat. Hey, you mentioned the blue line, Tommy. Let's get to the blue line. Anyway, that's your Boston Pizza Appetizer. Join us August 24th, Wednesday, August 24th, noon at the Capilano location. We will be set up looking somewhat professional, broadcasting, live streaming, podcasting the oil stream with Boston Pizza. You mentioned the blue line, and I agree with, what did you describe it as? Like, good? Adequate. Okay. So, let's say this is the sixth defenseman, and we'll see with Broberg in there and stuff. But let's just look at that blue line right now. And I'm going to ask you, is there a player there that you think could or should or has to elevate their game, and it's capable of doing it, to take the blue line from adequate to good or very good?
Let's start with Darnell Nurse. He didn't have a very good season last year. More so, he was good on the defensive side for a lot of the season. There were his moments where he, made bonehead plays, and people were more than quick to point those out. They don't like the contract. I get it. I also kind of don't understand how people get offended. It's not your money. Who cares? At the same time, start with Darnell Nurse. And if he has a better season, that's where it kind of paves the way. If Cody Ceci's solid and he's playing with Nurse, then, you have that top pairing that you can rely upon at all times. And then if Evan Bouchard continues to take steps forwards, and there's every indication to believe that he takes a step forward, that makes the blue line better too. If you get a good season out of Brett Kulak, nice, solid, steady, doesn't have to be loud, nice and quiet, that makes the blue line good. So it's like inching forward, I think, with this blue line. And then on top of that, the goaltenders cover up a few of the defensemen's mistakes that didn't happen last year. You're looking good. That takes you from adequate, where you can stomach the blue line, to, maybe 25 games into the year, you're like, you know what? The Oilers' blue line actually is holding up okay. Can it be improved? Yep. Will they look at improving that blue line? Probably. But you can kind of trust it, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm very fascinated in how that blue line ends up playing out. Like, you need Darnell Nurse to be overall better than he was last year. And if he is, and all of a sudden you have Nurse, like 2 years ago, Nurse was phenomenal. And yes, Tyson Barrie led the entire league in points on the back end. I know. Bouchard's not going to roll out and put up 80 points or something on the blue line. And I do think it all comes down to the play of Darnell Nurse. Like, if you look at the right side, you really hope Bouchard can continue to take a step in the right direction. And there might be, instead of 2 steps forward and 1 step back this year, it might be 4 or 5 steps forward and then 1 step back for him. And CC's been pretty reliable. Barrie, we know, is capable of playing a very good game. If Nurse struggles on the left side, a lot of it falls on Kulak, and then there's not much behind him, right? So Nurse, if Darnell Nurse can get his game to where it was 2 years ago, I don't think it's a stretch to identify the Oilers as a true, legitimate Stanley Cup contender. I'll say that.
He sets the tone, Dusty. I think he's one of those guys, he's a competitor, and he's willing to take on that challenge. I bet he knows full well that he did not have his best season, and I bet he knows just as well as the fans that were on him last year when he made mistakes. He's hard on himself. He demands a lot. I expect him to be better. There were some moments last year where you're like, geez, but he did deal with some injuries. And if he wants to solidify himself as a true number 1 in the National Hockey League, he's going to need to be more consistent, earn that $9.25 million AAV.
Yeah, there's a lot of money there, and it'll be pointed out to many of us that he's even making more than that as next year, as opposed to just his cap hit. So it's one of the things that we can continue to discuss, and obviously something that everybody will be watching as they work their way into training camp this year. One more reminder, Popeyes, 2 locations coming soon, West Edmonton Mall and Heritage Valley, and we will have some content to promote that for them. And, of course, August 24th at noon, Wednesday, Boston Pizza, Capilano. It's happening. It's going to be good. In fact, you and I don't even see each other in person as often as people would think. No. So I'm excited for that myself, Tommy. It's good.
Yeah, that's right. We don't really see each other. Every now and then at the studio, at the games.
Yeah.
Golfing sometimes, but you've been so busy with CFL. Yeah, we haven't seen each other in a little while in person.
Even that day on the 24th, after we finished the oil stream, the only way I could make it work was after we do the oil stream, I have to drive down to Calgary and then catch a flight from Calgary to Winnipeg or Regina or something to do a game on Thursday. So, yeah.
Oh, man.
Busy times, buddy. Busy times. But
so busy, Dusty, that I don't think we have enough time for that second last thing on the rundown there.
Yeah, well, you know what? I was just going to mention, like, they're going to be banging on my door because I got like a 3-hour later checkout here at the Delta in Winnipeg, which means we don't have time today to get to all of you Fogle haters out there.
No. Again?
Yeah. We'll save it. You know what? We'll save it. We'll get to it next week. That'll be a good idea. Yeah, let's do that next week.
Square.
Yeah, 100%. Promise you, Fogle hater episode next week. We'll make that happen. Tommy, you enjoy the rest of your weekend, man, and thanks for filling me in for me last couple of days.
Anytime, my pleasure, Dusty. Get home safe, and to all of our listeners and viewers out there, like, share, and subscribe. Smash that thumbs up button. We are influencers. #influencers.
Talk to you next week.